Good morning, Flosstube. It's Cindy, the Scrappy Chick. Today is Sunday, October 8th. At least I think so. When I'm not at work, I'm not looking at a calendar, but I'm pretty sure it's the 8th. Welcome back. Sorry, it's been a while. So I gotta give you guys an update before I do anything else. Remember I said we've been looking for a house, and I think I kind of hinted that maybe things were moving along. So they did. Right after I filmed last time, we found, or right before, we found the perfect house. It's not everything we want, but it's almost everything we want, and um, it's local to us. It is a teeny bit closer to work, which is nice. It's at the end of a cul-de-sac, which is what we want. We want privacy. It's a huge wooded lot, about an acre and a half. So it's smaller than what we have now. As my husband gets older, he said he doesn't want quite as much yard to deal with. So that's perfect, but it still has tons for him to play outside. That's his favorite thing, is to play on his tractor and lawnmower and do projects outside. So he can build a brand new pergola for us. He can build a new grilling station, new fire pit with whatever he wants to do around that. So to his heart's content, he gets to start over doing projects outside instead of in, because what we found was a brand new house. It's not even completed yet. It was halfway done. So that means we get to pick out the siding, the colors for the cabinets, the floors, all of the exciting stuff for me. And for him, that means he won't have to spend his time doing remodeling projects inside the house, which he enjoys doing, but he itches to get outside when we're doing too much inside. So it is a one level as we get older. We don't have to worry about steps. It has, everything we could want as far as the room in the house. So, we've been busy picking out everything there, talking back and forth, getting that under contract. And I was really busy for a week or so with showing this house, which was just, I may have mentioned this in the organization, Flosstube. It's a complete nightmare because you are, straightening up everything in the morning, making sure everything's nice and clean before everybody might get here, and come home long enough to literally walk the dog, grab a drink, and get back out the door, and stay gone for another hour or two. So I was pretty tired. Needless to say, no stitching time for the most part. There was very little floss tube time watching anybody, and especially me uploading anything. So sorry about all that. And the next month is probably not going to get any better. We move in a little over a month, about 5 weeks. So it's going to be pretty chaotic and hectic around here. But I wanted to hop in and do a floss tube because it's been a while. So there's not a ton to show you, but there actually is quite a bit. So what else was I going to say about the move? It seems like something else. But this is the end of the she shed. I hate it. I love my she shed because it is a she shed. It's my space. I can keep it however I want. One of my wishes was to have a craft room back in my house, which I had had for years before moving down here. So it's great that I get to do that. I have heating and air and all those wonderful things, but I'm going to have to keep it cleaner. I am a neat freak as far as tidying things up and all of that, but then I struggle with when I'm being creative. I have a hot mess. It's just everywhere around me, all over my table, all over the floor. It's just the way my creative process works. So I'm going to have to be a little bit tidier about that, but I'll be able to spend more time in there. It won't be too cold some days. It won't be too hot some days. So that's going to be amazing. And I don't have to tug stuff back and forth in and out from the house to the she shed. So the she shed will become a he shed. I would say a man cave, but it's honestly going to probably house all of the tools and lawnmower and whatnot until he can get a bigger, we do have a great big garage coming, but that's just enough for the vehicles. We still have to build a freestanding garage or buy one that's big enough for a tractor, a zero turn, a golf cart, a motorcycle, all the things. We have all the things, and the guys also have all the things. I think his things are more expensive than mine, though, but just saying. So anyway, it's going to be a relatively quick video as well, because my oldest daughter called yesterday and surprised me and said that she was going to be in town last night and today. So I'm going to meet both my daughters for lunch and my granddaughter. So we're going to have a little girl time. So not a ton of time this morning, but that's okay because I don't have a lot to share anyway. So I'm going to hop right in. Previous finishes, most of them are getting packed up. All the ones in the house have been packed up, like the drawer full of things that I set out for decor. I'm not obviously going to decorate right now until we get moved in. So all the fall things have been put away. As I was cleaning up out here and starting to pack, I've packed kind of the other end and some of down below, but I haven't yet done my fabric and my cross stitch stuff. Not all of it at least, but I did find in one of my cubbies down here, I have a little pull out. They're like these type things that you pull out of your cubbies, and one of them had some finishing supplies and some previous finishes, not fully finished, but that pile of shame basically. And there's actually not much in there because I did fully finish most of my things pretty recently, which you guys have seen, but there are a few odds and ends, and this is one I thought I would share. This is Prim from Lori Holt. I did this shamefully. I finished it probably a year or two ago, and it's been sitting there because I have not tried framing yet myself, and I am honestly just too cheap to go pay a framer. I think if I get a really large, pretty sampler done, then yes, I'm going to want it professionally done, and I will indulge myself in that. But for this one, I feel like I can frame this myself. I've just never laced, so I need to learn how to do that. So it's, not really my style anymore. Like I've said before, in the last 3 years, my taste has really changed, but it's really pretty. And it's going to go with little bits of the color that's in our guest room. This kind of tealy color. There's, quite a bit of that in there. So I think that'll go nicely, and I just need to make myself finish that. But other than that, I don't have any finishes right now. And as I said, all the other previous finishes are pretty much packed up. So I am going to jump into my whips. And first up, I have them in no particular order, This is the Day. I haven't worked a ton on this since I've seen you guys. If you're not familiar with the pattern, that's it. It's a Plum Street sampler. I started this and I was working hot and heavy on it and absolutely loved it. And then I don't know, put it down. It wasn't springtime, summer anymore. But I had recently pulled it out because I missed it. And I have an Instagram friend who is also working on it, and we are in very similar spots. So I did pull this out for my car stitch for a few days. I haven't done much more. Worked a little bit more on that border up and down, and some more on the roof. The roof is almost complete, and then I think I will go on to either trying to finish the brickwork or maybe trying to finish the flowers. The flower section is almost complete. The brickwork is maybe half done, a little more than a third, almost half. So at some point, hopefully, I'll get back to working on that pretty consistently. But for right now, like I said, it was my car stitch for a few days. And then I put that one away because I found a new car stitch, which I will share in just a moment. Let me get that one out of the way. Next up is Midnight Watch. And again, for those of you that are not familiar, this is Midnight Watch. It's a Blackbird Designs pattern. Absolutely love this one. I had bought it a few months ago and had it kitted up, and just recently started this one. I will show you my progress where I was right here at my last video, which was sadly about 3 weeks ago, I believe. I'll show you where I was on that, and I've done a little bit more. I still have a stray thread hanging out. I'm very guilty about that. I did actually iron for you guys today, since I'm out here, and this is where I keep my iron. But this is where I am right now. I've done quite a bit more on the border, carrying it around. I have the kitty cat done, and the moon is maybe half done. And then I was itching to start in on the roof. There's some stars in the roof. Start in on that roof line so I can actually get down to the house. So I have to force myself to keep working on that moon. Anything that's a lot of a single color, I get really bored with really quickly. So I do have to kind of make bets with myself or deals with myself. I think I've talked about this before, that if I finish another thread of that, then I get to go to the fun part, and then I have to go back and do another thread of the other, and it works. I get it done. That one is living in this bag, and I'm going to talk more about the bags at the end. That's the inside. That is fig tree fabric, by the way. Harvest Moon, I think was, no, that's not Harvest Moon. That is cinnamon and cream, maybe. It's from last year, but I think it's really pretty. So that's that one. Let me backtrack. I'm so bad about this. Sorry. This one is being stitched on Duxbury or Duxbury by Fox and Rabbit. That's a 36 count. So I'm doing one strand of floss over 2 threads of linen. I am using all the called for colors on that one. The first one that I had shown you, This is the Day, this one is on 36 count paper bark, also from Fox and Rabbit, and I love this fabric. I like the Duxbury or Duxbury a lot, but I really love this paper bark. It's so, I like a thin and flimsier fabric personally. It's easier for me. I do stitch in hand. I was taught to do it in a hoop, and when I came back to cross stitch and I was starting to do it in a hoop, and I saw somebody doing in hand, and I thought, well, that's really different. And since it had been so long since I stitched, when I tried it, I wasn't so set in my ways that I was able to convert over pretty easily. And I much prefer stitching in hand. If you've never tried it, definitely give it a try. But for me, I prefer the thinner and more, I won't even say flimsy, but more, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but anyway, thinner fabrics and more flexible, more malleable, whatever you want to call that. Next, this is the one that became my car stitch, because it's literally ready to get put into timeout. This is Let's Talk Stitching from Hands On Design. I'll show you the cover photo of that. That's that one. I think that is so cute, and I think there's a Let's Talk Quilting as well, and I thought these would be great in my craft room. I had originally planned to do them out here, but I'm going to go ahead and carry on. I probably would have changed up the colors a little bit, and it's honestly not too late. I probably could, but I may just leave them. I have done on this a little bit more of the scissors, the sal, most everything else inside that hoop, except for the, I think they're Algerian eyelets, if I remember correctly. I have to do those yet. So it's maybe a 4th done, maybe not quite, but pretty close to that. This one is also a Fox and Rabbit fabric. I had bought quite a bit of this at one point. This is Ancient Ruin 32 count. And the reason this is going to timeout is, even with my light by my chair, even with my readers on, I can see the holes. I can see them just fine. And then I get the needle, but I seem to be missing the correct hole. So instead of going over 2 threads, sometimes I'm going over 3, or I'm going over 1, and I don't catch it for a little bit, and then I have to go back and pick it out. And then I'll keep going, and then I do it again, and I have to go back and pick it out. And there's been a couple of times where it won't meet up. So I'll start the A, and I'll get around this way, and then I'm here, and I'm 1 thread off. So I have to go back and pick the whole thing out. So I find that I do that one better in natural light. There's something about, like I said, I can see the holes on the dark fabric. I'm just struggling with getting the needle in the proper hole. And maybe it's because the fibers on that linen aren't as, I don't know, they're just more, they're a looser weave, but they're, I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm struggling with that fabric. I think it's beautiful, but I'm struggling with it. So it had become an outside project. It's getting chilly, so I took it to work and worked on it in the car a couple of days, and that seems to be helping. So hopefully it will not get put in timeout. I am doing that with all the called for threads. That is, since it's a 32 count, 2 over 2, and it's all DMC. And I think the colors are really just pretty. They're kind of bright, but not too bright. Just a little on the subtle side. So I think that's going to be really nice when I get that one done. And then my last whip is the one that I am doing for the Plum Street Pumpkin Sow. I still have a hard time saying that. Plum Street Pumpkin Sow, which Laura Textile Crafts and myself are hosting over on Instagram. And you had September and all of October. There are giveaways with that if you missed that memo. So definitely, if you haven't had a chance, you still got a whole month. So come play along with us. It could be any pumpkin, autumn, Halloween, anything Plum Street that's kind of that fall related type thing. And just tag us over on Instagram, and that's Plum Street Pumpkin Sow. And if you will also tag Laura and I, she is Textile Crafts, and I am the Scrappy Chick. And that way we can find what you're doing. We have had a lot of people play along, which is a lot of fun. We've had a couple of people finish. We have a couple of people doing multiple projects, and I think one guy's actually finished both. And if not, he's almost finished with the second one. But the one that I had picked is Goody Grimwood. Absolutely just went bonkers over this when I saw it, and I should not have, because there is a lot of stitching in this one. But I have made, so this is where I was before. I had made a little bit of progress, and since then I think I've been working mainly on this instead of anything else. I've done quite a bit more. I've done the bird and the lady, most of the roof on this house, finished the roof out on this one, and about half of this house. So I still have maybe down to here on the house, maybe further actually. The rest of this roof and house and the grass, there's more flowers. So and then there's more over here as well. So there's still quite a bit to go. But again, I play the game with myself. I do a thread of this, and then I can go do something else. I do a thread of this, and then I can go do, whichever other part that I'm wanting to work on at the time. But I'm loving the way it turned out, or it's turning out. I was a little afraid of that fabric. I'm not sure if that's showing well. It's a gray, but it's really a very purplish gray, which I think is really pretty. And the colors are actually showing up really nicely on there. They're very muted, but they still are bright enough that it's kind of fun. Definitely. I've really enjoyed stitching this one. I'm having a very hard time putting that one down when I am needing to move on and do something else. I just want to keep stitching on that one monogamously. That one is being stitched on a 36 count Spellbound, and that is from Needle Bling Designs. And I also love this fabric. This has been just a joy to stitch on. Absolutely love it. The threads for that, all the called for, most of those are, if I remember correctly, Weeks Dye Works, with a few DMC thrown in there. And that would be stitched one thread over 2 linen threads. I'm really trying to get better about telling you guys all this stuff. This is living in one of my favorite project bags that I made. This is Ruby Star Society fabrics. Absolutely love them. I think that one's really fun. So that is it for my whips. But I do have a new start. I almost did not, but I have been itching to just start something new, because that's how I am. And I had a couple of Christmas ones in mind. But for some unknown reason, actually I do know the reason, I had decided to download one first, and I ended up doing 2. I've been looking for something to do for my granddaughter. She has, she's almost 8, and she has a very, we'll call it kind of bohemian room. It's really pretty. The colors and all are really pretty, but she has apparently now little, and I need my daughter to send me the pictures of this. This daughter doesn't watch, I don't think, so I'll get on her case today. But I need her to send me pictures of what she's talking about. She has little framed different things, and I want to say it was like a unicorn, a llama, like different animal type things that aren't too childish looking, but still kind of whimsical. So I've been looking for maybe a cat, and I remembered this one, and I think that is so cute. And I told my daughter I was going to bring a picture of it today to show her. And if she thinks that's just too odd, because it's definitely very eclectic, I guess, but I still find it whimsical, and my granddaughter loves cats. We all love cats. So if she doesn't like it, I love it, and I'm going to do it for me. But anyway, so I had decided I was going to download that, got all the floss for that. That is all DMC. But while I was there, you know, I couldn't resist, because I really want to do, I think I talked about this before, when I was doing the little trick-or-treat cat, also from Barbara Anna, the Halloween one, that I wanted to do some of the Dreaming Girls. I just think I think they're awesome. And I thought these would be so cute in my sewing room. So this is the one I picked first. I kind of wanted a winter one. And then for some reason, the colors just spoke to me on this one. I decided this was it. This is Garden of Dreams. And I have not done my floss on floss drops yet, because I literally just got all this yesterday. There's all the floss colors. They will be on drops. And this is my itty bitty little start. The very, very tippy top. Whoops, she's upside down. The very tippy top up here. I guess that's a little mountain peak. So not much on that. My linen, I have no idea what this is. I found just a big enough scrap in my stash. I could probably figure it out by going through my projects and figure out what it got cut off of, but I have no idea. I thought at first it was a 36, and then I pulled a strand of floss and it looked kind of loose. So I thought, oh, it's got to be 32. So let's do 2 strands. And now it's kind of tight. So I'm back to thinking maybe this was a 36 count, but I kind of like the puffier stitches on there. I think that's really pretty. So I think I'm going to continue to do 2 over 2 threads, and whether it's 32 or 36, I don't really care. We're just going to go with it. So that was my new start for this week. I still want to do something Christmas, but no more new starts. And that one is living in one of my little project bags here. This was one of the ones that I have been practicing on, or not practicing on, but trying to come up with a prototype for my new bags. That was one of the ones along the line, but I'm going to go ahead and utilize it anyway. So that's that one. So that is it for whips. For plans, I want to keep working on that one. I will start the cat because I want to do that for my granddaughter for Christmas if my daughter likes that one. If not, I'll pick something else. And I'm not saying she won't like it, but if it's going to go with the style of her room, and I think it's going to be kind of perfect actually. But if not, I'll find something else and I'll do the cat for me later. So those 2 for sure. I'm going to continue to work on Goody Grimwood, which is for my stitch along. Probably work some more on my car stitch, the Let's Talk Stitching. And then if I decide to start a Christmas, I may get a wild hair. You know, it is what it is. I had bought, because I love. So we're kind of into plans and kind of into haul. This is the Peace on Earth sampler from Cottage Garden Samplings. I don't know if you can see that. I really should take it out of the plastic. But there's something about the colors of that, and especially that pink and orange house. I thought, oh, isn't that pretty? So I did order what threads I could get for that one. I can't find the burnt orange. It's a Gentle Arts. I think I found a shop that carries it, but of course, floss can't travel alone. I'll have to get something else, and I'm really trying to not spend a ton of money. That was the nice thing about the Barbara Anna designs, is besides the download, you know, DMC is really cheap, and I'm stitching on a piece of fabric from my stash. So that one, I could cheat on that one. This was the last bigger purchase that I made for cross stitch. So I still have to get that orange, and I ended up picking out Silver Moon 36 count. I believe that's just a Zweigart. And I think the colors are going to be really pretty on there. Let me hold those up for you. I think that's going to work nicely. But again, I still need the orange, and I think there's one other that I couldn't find as well, so I'll have to hunt for that. So that is a potential plan. Another potential plan is Christmas Mini Moon, and I got this from Annabella's. Last time I went up to her shop, which I believe was in July maybe, and I just love this. I'm a Plum Street sampler kind of girl anyway, but I think that's really cute. So that's a possibility. And then the other one that I have kitted up is, well, not completely kitted, but I have all the floss for, is This Is I Know, also Plum Street. As soon as I get done with This Is the Day, that's kind of the companion piece. I've got all the floss in there. I just need to coffee dye it, which I actually have done before I had ever seen anybody do it. I had a blue that I really wanted a little more muted, and I was like, let's try, and I dunked it right in some coffee for a few seconds, and it looked great. So I am not scared of doing that. I just haven't gotten around to it yet because I'm not ready to start it. So that's a potential plan as well. But that kind of moves me into haul. So besides the Christmas Mini Moon and the Peace on Earth, I got the 2 Barbara Anna, and then I've gotten more fabric for project bags. This is Tiny Frights. I don't know, it's kind of getting to where we don't want to do Halloween anymore, but I just haven't had the time I thought I would have. But I thought that's super cute, super fun. And this one is Sweetwater Fabrics. Oh, sorry, that one is by also by Ruby Star Society, which I'm really jiving with right now. This one is from Sweetwater Fabrics. This is called Blizzard, and I thought this one was really fun. I love Sweetwater. I mean, how cute is that? I love it. And that one is actually going to go really well if I wanted to blend some of it in with that one that was from a couple of years ago, a Sweetwater. I don't remember the collection, but I do still have that Fat Quarter bundle from them as well. I did end up getting, though, this is the Jolly Bar from Fat Quarter Shop, and it comes with, I'd always heard this, but I've never bought a Jolly Bar before. It comes with a free pattern in there. Using the Jolly Bar and some background fabric. So I may have to get another one because that's super cute. It's just some flying geese. Very cute, but quilting seems to have gone by the wayside. So that is that. And then of course I got bunches of, you can't even see it all, yards of fabric to go with all of that. Oh, before I get to my last thing, I did want to tell you one other thing. And I am signed up for the Annabella's virtual retreat, which is next Saturday. And I can't wait. I think it's going to be fun. The guest designers are Annie B's Folk Art and Pansy Patch Quilts, Pansy Patch something. Anyway, they're both designers that I have never stitched before, so that's kind of exciting. Annabella's also has her own line. I don't remember the name of it. And she will have some things. And then there are 2 guest designers as well, so that'll be fun. I have never been to a virtual retreat. That's going to be something interesting. I think I'll also do the Jingle Ball if I have time. So that's exciting. So I guess I'm going to have more new starts next weekend. Didn't even think about that, but oh well, it is what it is. I'm going to have fun with it. Even if I just barely start something and don't get any further, that's okay. Okay. So the last thing I wanted to tell you guys about is project bags. I finally have, some that I'm getting ready to try to get up in my Etsy, hopefully today. And the first one you guys have seen a few times, that is the one that's the Harvest Moon from Fig Tree. I think these fabrics are so pretty. I like that little teeny pop of yellow, not much in there. I have some of these, and one of these, by the way, is going to be one of the giveaways for the Plum Street Pumpkin Sale. Laura has her own giveaway that she's going to do, and then I'm going to do one as well. So you have a chance of winning one of those. So that is one of them. And these, I've made quite a few with It's just regular quilt batting. I've made them with the interfacing. I've made them with all kinds of different things. This one is actually made with the foam, and I think I like that better. It's stiffer, and I kind of like a stiff bag. They sit up better. Let's see. Can you guys see them? I don't think you can. They sit up better on my shelf that way. So that's that one. And then in that same style, I'm working on some Christmas ones. Don't ask me what this fabric was off the top of my head. I honestly don't recall. But I'm loving doing that little zigzag stitch on there. I had done that before on a quilt top that I'm working on and had not thought about it on a project bag. But I believe it was Nicole Spohr that showed me that. And I think that's really cool. So working on some of those too. That's the one style. The other style, and this is what's brand new. So I've done quite a few. Let me grab them. Quite a few other from patterns of this style. And I love that one. I think that's really great. But I wanted to do something that was more unique and original. So this is another of the ones. You guys keep seeing peeks of these along the way. I think this is called Halloween. I don't remember the name of the fabric, but I believe that's what it is. Mine is a top fold. There's the back of it. And the reason I wanted to do that top fold, I'm going to open this up, and I'll have to put it on the table so that you can see. You do have a pocket here for patterns. You do have the vinyl in the zipper pocket that you can do floss or scissors or your fabric or whatever, because sometimes, I don't know if you've ever had the problem, but I have, where your pattern will stick to the vinyl. So I like that separate little pocket. And then on the back side, we have another slip in and the pocket. And then up here, this is what's going to make it kind of neat. So this is to put your floss on if you wanted to. And then I've got a place for this. I'm going to have to do a whole video. These will actually stand up on your table. And you can then put the pattern on there. Because I don't have a stitchy stand. I don't want to lug a million different things around with me. So this is perfect. I can just drag it all out of my project bag and it's right there, and it's going to stand right up on the table like a little easel. This is what I've been working on, that prototype, forever and a day, it seems like. I finally got it. That was my daughter's idea, to add the little tabs at the top. So the previous ones that I've been working on don't have those, but I think that's great. So here's one that does not have that on it yet. This is a, again, I don't remember. I want to say this is Sweetwater too. This is a prototype. This doesn't have what makes it sturdy in there. I'm not going to give away my trade secret. But now that I have figured out how to do it so it'll stand up nicely, there we go. And then I've also got, this is one of the beach ones that I was working on. And I actually have my stuff already in here. So if you can imagine, well, let me show you the bag first, sorry. If you can imagine, it has the pocket again and the zip pocket. And this is when I was trying to do the pockets this way, which I kind of like that, but it wasn't standing up as well, which is why I went to that instead, because those stand up way better with the way I have it secured. But as I was saying, is that if you can imagine those two little loops that I have now added, one would have your little mini clothespin to clip your pattern up there so that it can stand up. I've got, this is what's living in this bag right now. I was going to start this at the beach. I really wanted to, but I decided I really needed to work on my stitch along instead of doing that. So we'll pretend that this is your pattern, and that's just going to clip right on there as you're stitching, and this is standing up on your table, which is just totally awesome. And then that way you don't have to have 50 different things with you. So we're going to, again, pretend that that's my pattern, and we are going to pretend that this little safety pin here is another little tab. So then what you can do is hang, sorry, I don't mean to be so fidgety here. What you can do then is hang your floss ring right there on that. You can stitch. You can put the floss ring to the back if you want to while you're stitching. I just think it's a neat idea, and it's actually working really well. I'll have to do a whole little video on how they work. But like I said, I've just finally gotten to where I feel like the prototype is kind of just right. So I'm working on some of these now because I have lots of different fabrics. And one day I will get back to doing this one because I really want to start that. I think that's super cute. And it's obviously very out of season. So anyway, that is the project bag update. Hopefully I will have them starting to go into my Etsy shop. So I'll put a link once I get it up on here, and I'll do a separate little mini video once I have them and show you the ones that I have that are going in there, the ones that are going to be for sale. So I think that's it. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting to tell you guys because it's been so long. And my brain is just in literally 50 places. If you could just see the stack of boxes, I'm going to have to take a picture and insert it of the other side of the she shed. It's a disaster. But speaking of the she shed, I had done some more, excuse me, of these. I think these work great. These are going to be absolutely perfect. And then I actually also did them, one second, for my linen stash. That's the 40s. No, I'm sorry. That's the 32s. That's the 40s. I haven't gotten to anything else yet, but those are working great too on those comic book boards. I'm excited about that. So all I have to do is get the bookcases and we'll be good to go. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. And, oh, one more thing. Hang on. I almost forgot. I'm so sorry. I don't really have a ton of shout outs to do today. I haven't been watching much Flosstube, but I did watch a couple in the last couple of days. So I'm just going to shout them out because I don't think I've shouted either out before. One is Homemade by Sarah W. Handmade by Sarah W. And Sarah is precious. She is, I told her the other day in a comment, she is one of my new stitchy heroes because she gets so much done and it's so pretty. And I don't know if she just has all the time in the world or if she's a super fast stitcher. But her channel is great. She is super sweet and adorable and lots of fun things going on there. So check her out. I will put a link down below for the Flosstubers that I'm mentioning because I think it's Handmade by Sarah W., but it might be Homemade. I can't remember. I'm sorry, Sarah. The other one that I watched this week, actually there's two more. I'm sorry. One is Unfinished Stitches. I watched theirs last night. They are a riot. I love the dynamics between those two. And I think I've mentioned them before a while back. But that is Bonnie and Madison. One is on one end of the country, one's on the other end of the country. So they do a split screen. It's really cute. They have lots of great things going on there. And then the other one that I watched this week, actually this one wasn't this week, this was last week, and they may even have another one since then, is the Stitchy Friends, and that is Sarah and Jen. And they like live in the same neighborhood or something, and they didn't know each other cross-stitch, and they got together. It's a cute story, but they literally have a stitchy friend right down the street, which is so cool. Anyway, they are doing a stitch along with the new Wee Santa 2023, which I believe Heart and Hand is the designer for that. And I'm really trying to behave and not spend more money, but yeah, I may have to jump in on that one because it's really cute and I enjoy doing a good stitch along. So that's possible. But anyway, so those are the three that I remember watching this week. I did watch Laura Textile Crafts, my partner in crime in the stitch along, and hers was great as well. And I've mentioned her a few times, but I don't think there's anybody else I haven't mentioned that I've watched this week because I believe that's all I've literally watched. But anyway, I wanted to throw that in. So now I will say my thank you so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed your time here, please consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell so that you'll know when another video is on the way. And keep up with my journey because I'm getting ready to have complete chaos. But thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you guys have a good rest of your Sunday. And thank you. I said that like 3 times. Anyway, have a great week, and I will see you next time.